acknowledge that we're meeting on the lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people and pay our respects to elders past and present and those who will emerge in the future. Please be aware the meeting is being electronically recorded and broadcast via live stream in accordance with Reg 14H of the Local Government Administration Regs 1996. Really?
Oh, did we get the
old but new? No, that's probably correct.
I'll double check that.
So we have apologies from the Chair, Councillor Wheatland, Graham Tattersall from City of Fremantle, and I think that is all the apologies. Are there any disclosures of interest in relation to tonight's items? Nope. There are no public questions. As far as I know, there are no announcements by the Chair or presiding person. No petitions, deputations or presentations. The meeting will be closed for items 11.1 and 11.2. I don't believe there's any business not dealt with from the previous meeting. So that will go straight to the reports of the CEO. So I might get someone to move the annual budget. Yeah, Councillor Ettinger, seconded by Councillor Archibald. So did we want to hear from the acting CEO on the budget item? Do you have anything you wanted to say about it?
So the budget as presented is not significantly changed to prior year, but we have done it on the basis of a full year. In the absence of none. As we progress further, we'll gain a better understanding of the actual date, and then we would do a revised budget. We are suggesting and that we do. The fees and charges, so the members' charges have stayed the same. Fees and charges we've increased to the nearest, like $5, $10. They haven't been increased for a very long time, but we have a lot of them are ranges, so the actual value of the quantum of the revenue won't be great because bulk of our revenue is coming from contracted rates with our clients, being the councils. We are suggesting a change to the reserve fund and bring it down to one reserve, given that we're not going to be heading off to conferences and all that sort of stuff, and we've got a contingency reserve and what have you. So we're just saying, look, one reserve now, because we're going to be paying out money in respect to the wind-up, and so we have a broad range in reserve purpose that will enable us to do that. And the time to do it is at budget time, because other than that you need to give 6 weeks public notice to effect a change to the purposes of the reserve. So, but this is a decision that can be made by the council at this time while we're doing the budget. So the projected end of year, so in the budget it does have projections for this current financial year, and we do expect to end up in a positive financial situation with a surplus at the end of the financial year, which will then be carried forward into the new year to help us defray some costs. We have significantly wound back on, as you would expect it, given where we're headed to a wind-up, where we've significantly wound back on any capital works. What is shown is carry forward projects which we're doing now in order for us to continue operations for the next 6 months. So Craig, Mr Yardley, is looking very carefully at the expenditure required to keep the plant operating, and is making sure that we don't expend on anything other than what is absolutely necessary. So that's what's been factored into the budget, and that should be sufficient unless we have an unforeseen major breakdown, in which case then we'd have to tap into our reserves to do that, to address any of that.
That all makes sense to me. Were there any other?
I should say that we have not factored in cost of insurance for the
You've got
plan.
$500,000 on.
Yeah, so
gonna
those
ask
insurances are the pool scheme insurances, which is your public liability, professional indemnity, the insurance on this building. So those, and workers' compensation, of course, because we're required to maintain those. And that comes under the pool scheme. The other one, which is the industrial special risk policy for the Canning Vale facility, is the one that has to be marketed separately.
And that's one we'll discuss in the confidential.
Yeah, that's right. So, but the budget does contain funds for the normal LGIS pool insurances. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
Good. Were there any comments from officers or questions from elected members?
No, I thought I would just ask about professional indemnity, just as an insurance, only because we're kind of going through some interesting times, and just to make sure that's all in place. Yeah.
So cyber professional
for all
indemnity.
of us, yeah.
We've got, which is councils and officers liability under the pool scheme. Yeah.
So I was wondering about the travel indemnity. Is there going to be corporate travel?
That's.
Or is that going to from?
It'd probably be included in the general, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it's like a separate line.
It is a separate line. We're not anticipating anybody travelling, but you never know.
It's
Okay.
just
It wasn't a huge expense. We did drop the volunteer insurance though, because we no longer have a recycle right, and we no longer have those volunteers that were associated with that.
Makes sense. All right, so if there's nothing further on that on the annual budget, we've had a mover and a second, so I'll put it to a vote. All those in favour? And that's unanimous. Item 2 is the corporate business plan. Mover and a second for that. That's read during the Council Archibald. Any discussion on this one?
So it's a minor update, isn't it? And in terms of just to take us into the new period, and acknowledging that we're moving to wind up.
Yeah.
And whilst we continue operations, we will continue to deliver the performance outcomes that have been previously delivered by the RRG.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the number of the years in the corporate business plan are somewhat spurious. What to do, we need to have it for the period, and that is what it is. So, so I appreciate that you've just done a minor update to it. Anything further on that?
So I'd just like to say, obviously the strategic objectives are a lot different to what was there before. There was, the RRG going through, like a growth phase, looking for additional subleases and other things to generate revenue. And so I guess want to commend the RRG for, pivoting under the situation and adjusting their approach to reflect what's going. And also that's reflected in the corporate business plan as well. So well done, guys.
The only other thing I probably with the risk management stuff, I just, I know we need to take a fairly heavy-handed assessment on risk, but, whether, maybe it's something we just need to review in light of the kind of the current risks associated with the wind-up are very different from the risks associated with managing the sort of operations of the RRG. So it might be just a future action for a bit of a workshop to look through how we, and just get clear, all of us, on what are the risks moving between here and Christmas time, if you like, and beyond that. It might just be a timely piece of work for us to do. Maybe we can think about that
in the risk review.
Yeah. All right. So if there's nothing further on that, all those in favour? It's unanimous. The audit reg 17. I'll move that and ready to do. Would you like to second that?
I'll second that.
Sure.
yeah, that was presented to last month, but the last time and the audit committee adopted it.
Yeah.
Which is all of you.
Yeah. I haven't thought of anything particular to ask about it since then, but is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
I'll put it to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. So there are no questions by members, of which due notice has been given. So we'll move to the for the meeting to go behind closed doors. So I'll move that. Councillor Evans will second that. So all those in favour? Yep.